I want to respond to a gentleman that says, black women and his family have been terrible people, so black women are terrible people. Hi, my name is Dr. Natalie Jones. I'm a licensed therapist. I've been counseling women and men for many years. He says, you're talking about prison. I'm still listening. I like what you're dropping, ma'am. But black women in my family, including my mother, have been diabolical in my life. And I see it in other families also. Men don't speak up on these things because it's considered weak or disrespectful. But black women are out of control, terrible people. You know, I want to respect your experience that you have with the women in your family. I don't know you, I don't know the women in your family, and I do know that there there are mothers that cause trauma, and I've spoken about this on earlier videos, to their sons, to their daughters, and things like that. So I recognize that that can be an experience, and I can't take anything away from you in your experience with your mother or any of the women in your family, or what you have seen in men around you. But I'm going to say some things, and I hope that you can hear me and receive it. I'm not going to be, judgmental, but what I will say is you want to be careful about applying overgeneralized statements to a group of people, black women. Unfortunately, it sounds like, to me, from what I'm hearing, and again, I don't know you, but from what I'm hearing, your trauma has clouded your vision. And so your vision is black and white. You're not seeing color anymore. What that means is it's all or nothing. Like it's all good or it's all bad when it comes to a group of people. I've experienced some women doing this to me. So therefore, all black women are bad, and just, I stay away from them. Um, and that's not the case, and that unfortunately limits your scope and what you're able to see and what you're actually able to experience with black women, right? And that's up to you if that's the way you want to continue to operate in your world. However, your world becomes really small when you shut out a group of people, or you start to generalize and stereotype and have prejudices against a group of people. Which, if you want to do that, that's fine. But, and why not get therapy and work through your stuff? It it doesn't serve you. It doesn't really serve anybody to go through life. And I tell women this all the time, so I'm not just telling you. And if you look on my posts on the past couple of days, I've had some posts about having strong men in your life. I did a post about that to women, and there were women saying that. I told them the exact same thing I'm telling you. But it's. I think it would be better served to go through therapy, work through your trauma, so that you're not going through the world wounded, and just sort of taking your trauma out on women. It doesn't, there's some anger there, right? There's some anger there that you have towards women, black women especially. And so when I hear someone say that, the first thing that comes to my mind is, um, what are your real world experiences with these women? Like, how are you treating black women on a day-to-day basis? Because of whatever wounds you have with your mother and women in your family. And now your brain is only filtering for negative experiences. And so you are drawn to other men, or you have connections with other men. And now you're only seeing the negative experiences with black women. But there's beautiful black women on social media every day. There's maybe beautiful black women at your job, out in the world every day that are doing great things. So not all of them are bad, but if you don't change the way you think, you're only going to look for bad narratives and bad viewpoints in your world. So you want to it would require additional work on your part to say, you know what, I actually want to have positive experiences with black women. I don't want my mother to take my experiences with black women. And while you're saying black women, again, based on my experiences being a therapist for many years, Usually when a man has a bad experience with his mother or has some mother wounding, it's usually across the board with women. You may be focused, hyper focused, or have more of a negative thought process behind Black women, but trust and believe those mother wound issues are coming up across the board with all women. That's usually my experience with men who have that. So what efforts have you made on your behalf to, what efforts have you made to see, Black women doing positive things or having positive connections with Black men? Is that something that you even want to see? Or are you going to allow your mother to control the narrative of your life? I mean, while you may have had a bad experience with her, what I'm hearing you say is that she still has a lot of control over you, and you are still her little boy that she has under her thumb. And as an adult, I'm 46 years old. My thing is, I never want to allow somebody to have that much control over me. And I've been through painful experience. We all have been through something. And so I would encourage you to maybe you or anybody else who sees this, any other man who sees it, I would encourage you to maybe, think about it differently and recognize that you are in control of your narrative and your life as an adult man. So you have the power to change any circumstance or any experience, going forward. And why not change it to be more beneficial, to have more positive, loving experiences with women, women, Black women, any woman really, if that's your jam. But more importantly, I would say, releasing the anger that has power over you, and when anger is turned inward, it turns into depression. It manifests into high blood pressure. It can turn into rage, violence, all sorts of things. So that ultimately becomes your own demon that you have to wrestle with. And again, I can't tell you what to do, but I think that everybody deserves to have a good life, deserves to have good relationships. And I think you have to do the work to work through any sort of biases and narratives that you have, especially when you're starting to have broad strokes and apply it to an entire group of people, people of which you belong to. I mean, you're a Black man, you have a Black mother, you may have Black sisters and aunts, and while they may not have been very good to you, that still does not change the fact that you are very much Black. So there is that. Lastly, one thing I will say, and this is not just to you, I would say this is to anybody who's listening. Right now is a very interesting time in the United States. And one of the things that people really need to start thinking about seriously and not taking for granted is community. And so you need to be proactive and really building a community. Unfortunately, we don't know what tomorrow will bring. So I hope this in some way helps. I want to thank you for your response. And my response is not meant to be in any way disrespectful to you. Thanks so much. I hope that helps.